Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're always so quiet over there.
Sorry.
Pipe up a little bit. I mean, come on. Coming up later in the program, we're going to have a friend of a friend. We've got an author, but it's actually a friend of mine, Tom Henderson, and he's got a book, and he also has a really cool program that he does. We're going to be chatting with him all about that later in the program today. Hey, take a listen to this, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this, Heidi. There's a movie company in Korea that wants to use the new digital technology that we have and digital imagery to bring the late Bruce Lee back to life and on the movie screen.
Yeah, I don't...
he wouldn't be alive in reality, but what they would do is they would use digital imagery to actually make new movies starring Bruce Lee, utilizing, film from back in the day.
That's a little morbid, I think. I don't know.
And that's my thought was, I love Bruce Lee as much as the next guy, but, maybe we, let his soul rest in peace and we don't try to... Kind of like the whole Colonel Sanders thing with the new KFC ads. I don't know how I would feel if I was in the Sanders family, because now they got these guys doing, cartoon caricatures basically of him. I'm like, just let the guy rest in peace. Come on. Anyway, we each get to have our own opinion on that, don't we? Coming up in a bit, we're going to chat about some special things happening today. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Battery Day, so get all charged up with that. It is also Cow Milked While Flying in an Airplane Day. So it was on this day way back when that somebody said, I wonder if I could milk a cow while flying in an airplane. It is Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, or what I call, that's every day. That's breakfast ice cream.
You don't eat ice cream.
You know what?
For
I
breakfast.
would if I could. It is the Great American Spit Out. You know what that is?
I have no idea.
It's like the smoke out, but it's a day you quit if you're chewing tobacco. Yeah. It's National Drink Wine Day, or as Heidi calls that, every day.
That is true.
And National Hate Florida Day. So why are they hating on Florida so much?
Because they've got nice weather and a lot of the rest of the country has miserable weather. So.
And National Pluto Day. Now, I don't know if this is the dog from Disney or if it's the planet. But we had a Pluto Day not too long ago, so this must be the other one. So, a way to celebrate.
Pluto is no longer a planet.
It is, too. In my book, it's always a planet. Coming up in a bit, we're going to head to Lodi, California for You Heard It on the Radio.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio. In Lodi, California, police arrested 3 generations of the same family.
Whoa.
They all went shoplifting together.
Oh, isn't that nice?
They all went to a local Target and allegedly tried to steal $900 worth of merchandise. The 59-year-old grandmother, Linda Robinson, was joined by her 36-year-old daughter, Anna Fernandez, and Anna's 4 kids, ages 17, 14, 8, and 5. And, if you don't train them while they're young, how are they going to know, right?
Well, how are they going to learn if you don't show them?
Well, the entire crew was caught on surveillance video, cutting open boxes and hiding things like MP3 players,
oh my gosh,
digital cameras, DVDs, jewelry, and sports equipment into purses, bags, and backpacks. Police said even the 5-year-old, he actually snagged a pack of gum. Grandma and daughter are now facing 8 years in prison.
Good.
The 2 teenage sons will face charges in juvenile court. The 2 smaller kids, again, ages 8 and 5, were released to relatives, and they won't face any charges.
Poor kids.
They're going to pay the price in the long run anyway.
Yeah, that's just too bad.
That is messed up. So Grandma and Mom and my older siblings are going to prison now. I guess the older siblings, what did they get?
Well, hopefully the little ones know.
Hopefully that'll change their life and they'll say, yeah, let's not do this in the future.
Yeah.
Because it is really a bad idea. You don't do that. But that's absolutely crazy. Never heard of such a thing. So whole family went out shoplifting together.
Nice.
So there you go. Coming up here in a bit, going to talk about an unsuccessful robber Also on the way, we've got computer games and just how dangerous those are. And then later in the program, Tom Henderson, he's an author, and he's got a really cool program we're going to chat with him about where he goes around and speaks to students all around the country. Awesome guy. That's all on the way on another edition of the John and Heidi Show. And this whole, family that steals together, goes to jail together, it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. You've heard the phrase, I shot myself in the foot on that deal.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said, I've heard people say that. Well, this guy really did it. Police say Kelvin Etherbent Roberts botched his plans to rob a Cherryville, North Carolina convenience store by shooting himself in the foot using a .45 caliber handgun. Now, it wasn't on purpose. The gun apparently hit the ground and went off. The bullet then had the opportunity to strike him in the foot. Authorities said Roberts was illegally possessing the gun because of a felony cocaine possession conviction in 2002 in Chautauqua County, New York. So he wasn't even supposed to have a gun. And it sounds to me like he doesn't really know how to use a gun.
No, well, there's some people there's other reasons that they shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm all for owning a gun. If you can handle that, and I'm nothing against owning guns. We own guns, but make sure if you're doing that you're responsible. Coming up here in a bit, we've got some other fun stuff to share, and that right there, folks, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Computer games. How dangerous are computer games?
Not very.
Well, sometimes it's not necessarily what happened in the game, but it's what's happening outside of the game. Joseph Langenfelder of Duden, Florida, got fed up with his 22-year-old son, Tim, sitting around playing video games all day.
I can see that, yeah.
Instead of doing chores. Hey, you're 22. You're still living in my house. You can at least help out. Well, we just talked a little bit ago about a irresponsible gun owner, and apparently this kid's dad is as well. Joseph was mad because Tim still hadn't done his laundry, so Dad went and got his gun, and he threatened to shoot the computer monitor. I'm going to shoot that computer if you don't. And while he was waving the gun around, it discharged, and the bullet hit the wall 3 feet from where Tim was sitting.
Whoa.
Tim called 911, told the police, my dad shot at me, and Dad was thrown in jail on attempted murder charges.
Oh, my gosh.
So, again, be a responsible gun owner, people. If you have a gun, be responsible. You don't wave it around your house because your kid is not doing his laundry. That's just not the way it works. Might need some classes.
I don't know.
Parenting.
I mean,
wait, you're saying that was okay? Wait a minute here. Are you serious?
Okay, I've seen how angry you get, and our son is 19.
Okay, would you wave a gun around the house, though? That's not the way you answer it. That's no way. No.
By the time 22 rolled around, if Troy hadn't gone and done something, I think probably you would have
never happen.
Lost it.
I would never.
You wouldn't shoot. You wouldn't go out and shoot his computer if that's all he did is set it on.
Positive, I would not do that.
You wouldn't run it over with a car.
I would unplug
throw it out the window.
I'd unplug it. I'd do that, but I certainly wouldn't shoot it. That's just a knucklehead idea. Coming up, we've got your scoop of the day. That's on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. McDonald's has, they've been changing things up. They started doing that whole breakfast all day thing.
Yeah.
I saw some other menu items that they're going to be bringing out. Now, they've opened their first cyber restaurant in Tel Aviv. What? It is a McDonald's with 20 computer terminals, so you can surf the web while chomping down on burgers and fries. A lot of people here have like their own phones that they use, so I wonder if in Tel Aviv maybe they don't have that kind of thing. I don't know. McCook, Nebraska officers were forced to shoot a pair of turkeys who were making pests of themselves around the town in McCook, Nebraska. This happened last month. They were intimidating pets and people and damaging property. And the reason I was laughing a little bit ago, when I first read that to myself, see, I'm trying to pre-read things now.
That's nice.
I thought it said imitating pets and people. I was like, imitating. Oh, intimidating. I get it. I thought it would have been a lot more fun if they were imitating. Anyway, that happened in McCook, Nebraska. Hey, the more food, the manlier the man. Apparently, that's what men think anyway. According to a Cornell University study, if you're a man, how much you eat may have more to do with the gender of the person you're eating with. In other words, men eat to show off. They eat more when they're in the company of a woman than they do in the company of other men. So, Heidi, that explains my weight problem.
It's not impressive.
I'm with you too much.
Yeah.
Like, hey, watch this. I'm going to eat another one of those.
It's not impressive at all.
And you just say, would you please quit taking food off my plate to do that? Hey, in a recent study, it shows that people who like charities on Facebook are less likely to donate to them. That just seems counterintuitive right there. It doesn't seem right, does it? If you like a charity on Facebook, you're less likely to actually give them money. Now, I don't think that seems right. Hey, the latest survey of teens and tech shows nearly 8 in 10 have a cell phone. Actually, it's 78%. Almost half of those are smartphones. So 48% are smartphones. So again, a lot of teens have cell phones. 78% of teens have a cell phone. About half of those cell phones are smartphones. So kids, if you're looking for fuel to, beg mom and dad to get you that phone, there you go. A new study shows that our brains need rebooting. Did you know that, Heidi?
Uh-huh.
Mine does.
On a regular basis.
The study published in a recent edition of the Journal of Science found that a plumbing network in the brain of mice flushed out cellular waste while they were sleeping. Officials found that several important housekeeping functions take place while you're sleeping. So they were saying that this study says if you don't get enough sleep, it's going to be bad for you because while you're sleeping, that's when your brain goes in and flushes out all the junk that you don't need.
There you go.
Recent findings show that. What do you think of this pre-reading so far?
So far, it's been phenomenal.
That's a bang-up job. Recent findings show that $3,075 is spent every second on internet pornography.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Whoa.
So that's just crazy.
Tyler, start a site.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see what I have to share. Tyler, Texas police surprised a couple of men nosing around the classic Toyota lot late at night. The men spotted the cops and they took off, with one of them jumping over a fence nearby to get away. As soon as he hit the ground, he realized he had made a serious mistake.
Did he jump into a prison yard?
No, he jumped into a home, a yard that had 2 giant Rottweiler dogs. Oh. These giant, big, mean dogs were, and they said in the story they were mean. My brother used to have one, and I know our Rottweiler was not mean. But this story says that they were 2 big, mean Rottweilers, and they were trying to attack the guy. So he climbed back over the fence into the arms of the police. Hey, if you're going to rob a bank, the city bus should not be your getaway vehicle of choice. Sandy Springs, Georgia police arrested a 22-year-old there, Chanel Monet Gaskin, after allegedly robbing a local bank. She was arrested. Yeah, I said she, because that doesn't happen very often. You don't hear about ladies robbing banks, do you?
Well, Bonnie and Clyde.
There you go. Well, she was arrested after police spotted her waiting at a bus stop to get her getaway ride.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
She was going to take a bus.
Yeah. Steve Rose, the lieutenant of the police department, says that just wasn't too bright. After being given a bag of cash from a bank, she ran across the parking lot where a dye bomb exploded and sprayed orange-colored ink all over her and her money. And he said that kind of made it easy for her to be spotted. Yeah, do you think? All right. Hey, it's time for your strange law. In Michigan, under state law, dentists' offices are officially classified. The dentists are classified as mechanics.
Oh.
There you go. So that's in Michigan. It's a strange law, and this has been your scoop of the day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Today's a special day. We've got a guest that is a friend of a friend. A lot of the time I visit with authors, but they're people that I don't know. I just found out about them online. But the really cool thing about this is Tom Henderson is a friend of a friend, and we're going to welcome him to the program right now. Tom has a book. The book is called Heart Not Hype. Tom, how you doing?
Very well, John. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we're glad to have you on. I know Jeremy, and he's a friend of yours, and he's a friend of mine, and he's told me very good things about you, and I went onto your website, and I'm kind of checking out what you do. This is really, really cool. You're making a big difference in the future of our country, aren't you?
Well, I mean, thankfully, there's been a lot of great opportunities to speak specifically into the lives of teenagers, which is really my passion. I've been working full-time with students now for 17 years. and in various capacities. And right now, for the last 6 years, 6 years ago, we started Restoration Generation, and it's really focused on one thing, and that's restoring a generation of relationships.
I think everybody listening could probably agree that if you think about, how times have changed. We were actually watching a TV program with our daughter. She's a freshman in high school. We were watching the Leave It to Beaver show. Now, that's even before my generation, but I watched that as a kid, and we watched how, kids acted and how kids were then, and we know how they were when we grew up, and we see how they are today, and there's been a huge change. So Restoration Generation, what a cool thing that you guys are actually working on ways to restore a generation of relationships. That's really a cool thing.
Yeah, and we started it, John, just because the majority of students today, really so many of us, we've known nothing but broken relationships in our lives, with our parents, with our family, with our community, in relation to God and faith, and then as odd as it may sound, with ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to create whatever identity you want to create, is social media, or putting on this mask when you're with this group of people, or wearing this mask when you're with another group of people. And so even just understanding who we are and our identity, and so we're kind of just have this broken relationship with ourselves. And so I speak to somewhere between 20 and 25,000 students a year, and in several different varieties, whether it be conferences, festivals, camps, retreats, those kinds of things. But we also do about 30 to 40 public middle school and high school assemblies every year, where we go in and we talk with students about what does it look like to have healthy relationships in their lives, how can they show the kind of love to one another in a middle school or high school setting that they themselves are looking for in their lives. We talk about how to care for one another. We look at, bullying, not how to, but how to avoid that kind of stuff. And then we leave a curriculum with the school, a 4-week curriculum that's based on my talk, so the school can continue the conversation that we begin in a large group setting. Again,
visiting today with Tom Henderson with Restoration Generation, also the author of Heart, Not Hype. Now, if somebody listening is saying, man, you know what, we would love to have this guy come and speak at our school, how do they go about getting a hold of you, and how does that whole process work?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, John. We have a couple of different websites, and we separate them just because we want to make sure that schools are comfortable in knowing that we don't bring any kind of faith conversation. Heart Not Hype is a book about faith and so forth, but when we're in a public school setting doing assemblies, we do not incorporate any kind of faith into that talk. And so we have two separate websites. One is the school website is resgenschools.org, RESGEN schools, plural.org. And then the main ministry website is just resgen, RESGEN.org. So and you can get to the school site via the ministry site, but not the other way around, because we want to make sure that those schools are very confident when they bring us in that we are there to serve them and to communicate in a way that is acceptable in a public school setting. And we've done well over 200 over the last 5-6 years, and we've had nothing but positive results, and it's been a great way for us to speak into the lives of students.
I think it's awesome that you offer both as well. So you've got the ministry that you do, Restoration Generation, but you also have it set up where you're saying, hey, we'd love to impact as many students as we can. We understand the constraints of public schools, so we're willing to take that portion out, because if we can still help restore a generation, that's still going to be a very positive thing.
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, if we can go and speak to the lives, I was did a school assembly just last week, and I had a teenager come and talk with me and say, my mom is getting married to what's going to be my fourth stepdad.
Ooh.
And I don't know how to process this and the anger that I have. And so many students are facing issues relationally with each other. I mean, obviously, teenagers and drama and different things like that. But there's a real lack of hope for relationships sometimes in their homes, and just to go in and talk with them about how they can, be strong for one another, link arms with each other, and help make one another stronger, and to not give up, that somehow, very possibly, those relationships in their family can be restored even in the future, even though it may not seem like a possibility right now. And my personal story is very much like that, with a dad that wasn't around for my childhood and made some pretty big mistakes and did some time throughout my teenage years in prison, and that left me as a teenager just wondering, what does that look like? What's the relationship with my dad look like? And can I be a dad? Can I be a good husband, even though my past has been somewhat broken? And so it's been one of those things that has been a really good thing to be able to go and share my story with students and have them encouraged by that.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. It's awesome to see people making a positive impact on the next generation. Again, the website for Restoration Generation is resgen.org, resgen.org. And can I get the book from there as well?
Yeah, so the book Heart Not Hype is, you can find out more information about Heart Not Hype there. That's a great way to buy it in bulk because we give pretty significant discounts when you buy more than one. You can also, find it on Amazon and that kind of thing as well. But yeah, the book is it's all about how do you, if you make a decision for God and you want to have faith in your life, what does that look like? How do you do that? Like, how do you read the Bible? Where do you start? Why should you read it? Why are there big numbers and small numbers? Why do you pray? How should you pray? Isn't it just kind of weird to talk into the air? Should I go to church? How do I find a church? Why should I go to church? So it just kind of lays it out in very simple terms as to, what does it look like to have faith in your life and follow Christ?
That's awesome. Tom, thank you again for taking the time to visit with us today.
You are most welcome. Thanks, Sean.
Again, Tom Henderson. I'm going to give you the name of that website one more time. It's resgen.org. That's for Restoration Generation, resgen.org. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by carsforsale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at carsforsale.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Bulletproof vests, fire escapes, windshield wipers, and laser printers were all invented by women. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Cool stuff. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Jordanian city Amman, you hear that in the news every once in a while.
Sure.
It was once known as Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah, that was the original Philadelphia, I believe. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Atlantic Ocean is saltier than the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, I wonder why.
I don't know. People dumping margaritas overboard? I have no idea. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The border between Canada and the United States is the world's longest border. It stretches 3,987 miles. That's a long ways. Or 6,416 kilometers if you're on the other side of that border.
Huh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
I think we might have squeezed more fun facts in this than ever before. The Eiffel Tower was built in 1889. What was it first built for?
I really don't know.
For the World's Fair. And it was supposed to be disassembled afterwards. And people liked it so much, they said, let's just leave it up. And officially, I don't think it was ever finished because they were going to put like a coat or something over the top of it, but people like it the way it is. So there you go. Some fun facts for you on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. For those of you who use computers, do you still print? I do.
Yeah.
I have to print things quite often.
Yeah, we print.
But I don't print nearly as much as I used to. Like right now, I'm reading all this stuff off a screen. I used to print all of this stuff. So, but this is a little secret for those of you who do print. If you have inkjet cartridges, did you know that's one of the most expensive things in the world? If the ink were gasoline, it would cost you $175,000 to fill your gas tank. That's how expensive ink is. Because it's like, $40 for something this, I'm holding my fingers very close together, this tiny. It's $40 or $50. So that's a very expensive thing. So if you go out and buy an inkjet printer, it comes with ink cartridges, but they're only partially filled and they don't last very long. The printer company wants you to go into debt getting those cartridges almost immediately. So you buy more cartridges and more cartridges. It seems like it never ends, right?
Wow.
Says here it could actually take only $3 to $4 to produce an inkjet replacement cartridge. So you're paying about 10 times as much to buy them. They mark them up due to the research and development costs. So you're helping to pay for all of that, which that all makes sense. I understand. They should make a profit. But the problem is when you're done printing, there's still ink in their cartridge. So what is the trick to squeeze the last drop out of every cartridge? Ignore the warnings. It says keep a replacement handy, but keep printing
until
cartridge.
It literally runs dry.
Until it's done.
Yeah, we do that.
And it says you can still get a few more pages. Sometimes you can take the cartridge out, shake it really good,
and
put it back in. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. And the answer comes from a thing called compatibles and remanufactureds. And they're generic cartridges that they use old cartridges to make the new ones. And you can buy those at a fraction of the cost. So anyway, next time you start printing, just think about how expensive that is. The number 175,000 should stick in your head. Because if you use that ink to fill your vehicle, to drive it, that's how much you'd pay to fill your tank. That's a crazy amount. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Today has just been an interesting day for gun owners that are dumb. I mean, we've had several stories of dumb gun owners today. Now, I'm a responsible gun owner.
So
I would never do any of these.
I'm assuming you've got another one coming out.
Yeah, I do. You ever have somebody who hates your music so much they pointed a gun at you and fired?
No.
They say if the music's too loud, you're too old. Well, here's a perfect example of that. If you don't want to play your radio too loud around 80-year-old Lily Klaus in Toledo, Ohio. Lily lives across the street from Lucas County Jail. But she's sitting inside the jail now because she fired a shotgun at the car of a guy that was parked out in front of her house because he was, quote, playing his music too loud.
She fired it. Oh, my
Bad
goodness.
news is, while she missed the guy, the pellets actually struck two kids who were standing nearby. Fortunately, they were not actually hurt because the round had lost most of its powder. The gun had been sitting there for 42 years. She'd never had a reason to fire it before, apparently. Police said Lily didn't ask the guy to turn the music down first. She did, but when he refused, the 5-foot, 108-pound, 80-year-old woman went into her house, grabbed the shotgun, and fired it at him. So there you go. Just had a flash forward of what Heidi's going to be like at 80.
I was just going to say, I kind of like her.
Yeah, that's a bit. Be a responsible gun owner, people. Coming up, we've got a first date fiasco. That is on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
This is just fun to say, Heidi. A first date fiasco. Would you say that for me once?
First date fiasco.
Isn't that fun?
Sure.
Tips for guys trying to impress a woman on a first date.
Apparently eat a whole bunch of
that
food.
That too. But the other thing is don't shoot yourself because we got another dumb gun owner today. What happened in the news? This is the craziest day for gun owners. Susan McDonald and Kim Barnes. Their first date was going well until Mr. Barnes accidentally misfired a gun and shot himself in the leg. Yeah, Kim, the man in the story, a former U.S. Air Force fighter pilot, I'm so disappointed in you right now, handled guns all of his life. But he accidentally shot himself with a semi-automatic pistol during his first date. The irony was he was trying to demonstrate to his date, Susan, how kids often accidentally shoot themselves. Fortunately for him, the date works in a hospital. She was able to help him until paramedics got there. I certainly hope they get a second date because maybe he can show her some really cool stuff. Anyway, she says he is a lovely man. And he's hoping for another shot at her as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So what's that, 4 stories today
about
irresponsible gun owners? That's just ridiculous. Coming
You're
up here.
giving good gun owners a bad name,
I'm
people.
not trying to. And when I was reading these, I was like, maybe I could space these out over a week. But you know what? We're going to just make sure that we use that. Today we're going to say, if you have a gun, be careful with that sucker. Coming up, we've got some research telling me that grumpy is good. Uh-oh. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Research from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, have determined that grumpy people are not only better at decision-making, but also less gullible. Says lead study author and psychology professor Joe Forgas says cheerfulness fosters creativity, while gloominess breeds attentiveness and careful thinking. This is a report from BBC News. Why, might you ask? Go ahead and ask.
Why?
I'm glad you asked. Because grumpy people are better able than happy people to cope with demanding situations because of the way their brain promotes information processing strategies. Wow, that was tough to even say.
You know what? I agree with it. I tend to be the more grumpy out of the two of us, the more skeptical out of the two of us.
I agree with that.
And I'm usually the one that says, this is a bad idea. You don't want to do that.
You have a good intuition about those things.
I do. See, it's because I'm grumpy.
There's some times that I think maybe I should start listening to that. Might have saved us a lot of attorney fees recently. Hey, whereas positive mood people seem to promote creativity, flexibility, cooperation, and reliance on mental shortcuts, and negative mood triggers more attentively and careful thinking, paying greater attention to the external world. What are you laughing about?
The way you read that was so choppy. I have no clue what in the world you just said.
Do you want me to say it again?
Maybe simplify it a
I'll
little.
try to simplify it. Positive mood people seem to promote creativity. So if you're in a positive mood, you're more creative. You're more flexible. I bend all the time to make things work for you. You're more cooperative. I do that all the time. And I rely on mental shortcuts. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do all of that. I'm going to do this quick, easy route.
I agree with all of that. I think that's absolutely true.
They also, negative mood triggers more attentive, careful thinking. And so the people that are more negative, they think things through more carefully. They pay greater attention to the external world, where, meanwhile, there's people like me that are creative. We're like, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to jump now. Do you have a parachute? No, but we'll figure it out.
See, and I agree with everything that story just said. Except I don't think that I am a pessimist. I think I'm a realist. I think there's a big difference.
Said the pessimist. This is according, you can read that entire story in Australian Science magazine, because I'm sure we're all going to run out and grab a copy. Coming up, we've got some good news.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
Thanks for listening on this Thursday, the 18th day of February. We have blown past February the 9th, and I didn't even know that there was a special thing on that day. Did you know that February the 9th was a special day?
No.
Here's what it is. February 9th has come and gone. Are you still on track with your New Year's fitness resolution?
No.
Well, Gold's Gym says probably not. Fitness organizations studied their check-in data. After crunching the numbers, they have determined that February 9th is the so-called fitness cliff.
I fell off that cliff way before February
January
9th.
9th. What are you talking about? We were so ahead of the game. The fitness cliff is when many people stop going to the gym. Even though they said on January 1st, I'm going to make a resolution to... It didn't happen. They did it until February 9th or way before. However, they've also got some suggestions for you if you're still working out and want to try again, because it's never too late to start over. So you ready for these 4 tips from Gold's Gym?
Yes.
And you can do these whether you go to Gold's Gym or another gym or no gym. So you don't have to go there. I'm just going to tell you, number 1 is use the buddy system. High five, Heidi.
Yeah, that hasn't worked well for us.
It's because neither one of us really want to work out. We're like, hey, you want to go work out? I'm like, or we could go to the buffet. Yeah, let's do that.
That is true. That's always your response. Hey, you know what they're having over there today?
Oh, yeah, this looks good. Let's go over and have some food. Number 2 on the list of 4 things from Gold's Gym to be careful on this fitness cliff. Don't beat yourself up if you get off track. Well, I'm not going to. Next, embrace technology is number 3. They say there are things like fitness bands, meal tracking apps, and they're more than just cool technology. They're very helpful if you use them properly. And number 4, they say if you want to kind of kick things back off and, get a second chance at your New Year's resolution. It's not too late, but they say put it in writing. If you don't write it down, you don't tell people, you're not going to do it anyway. So write it down. All right. What do you think of all that? Good stuff?
I agree with all that.
All right. More can be found on our Facebook page. I'll throw a link right to all of the details. And our page is facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Was this supposed to be our good news?
That was good news.
That was good news.
It's not too late. Yeah. I gave you all the details on what to do if you fell off track.
Okay.
So that's good news.
Well, then goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, whatever. I don't even know how to respond to that now. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show, completely off base here on a Thursday.
Time now for the bonus break, only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Time now for your bonus break, brought to you by, it's going to sound so weird to say this for the first time, Knowles Systems. Isn't that weird?
Really? It does sound weird.
And I'm glad to say it, and I'm super excited about this because if you have funds that are earning less than 6%, let's say you have money like a CD at a bank, or you have money in a savings account, and you're earning diddly squat, maybe it's time to check into some other options out there. Commercial mortgage bridge loans are paying 6%, and it might be just what you need. And here's the neat thing. You're placed in first position on loans that are secured by high-quality commercial real estate, things like hotels, apartments, office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, so you get a check every month, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never, ever pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. So if you'd like to get some details, should I give the phone number or the website, Heidi?
The website, probably.
All right. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Go check them out there. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. And when you go there, make sure you tell them the John and Heidi Show sent you. Now, let's take a look at this. The top 5 signs that you need to skip spring cleaning and just start doing it now. Don't wait for spring.
All right.
Because we got spring cleaning coming up a few months from now, right?
Sure.
In the spring. So here are things. If people keep slipping on the pumpkin remnants on the front porch, start working on that now. Number 2, there are dust bunnies for every song in your iPod. Yeah, that's probably a good sign. Number 3, something inside the refrigerator growled at you. Yeah, do your spring cleaning early. Top 5 signs you need to skip the spring cleaning and dive in it right now. Not one needle left on the Christmas tree. If you still
it's time to get rid of it.
And the final thing, top 5 signs you need to skip spring cleaning and start doing it now. Romney 2012 is written in dust on your coffee table. That's probably a good sign that
our house is not that bad.
No, it's not. Hey, it's hotter than. Have you ever heard anybody say it's hotter than hell?
Yes,
I've heard that. Have you ever wondered just how hot is that?
No.
Well,
I know it's very hot. I don't need to know how hot.
According to...
Hopefully I never find out how hot.
I don't ever want to find out either. But here, of course, somebody had to do the research on this. We probably paid for it.
There's no way of knowing this. This is the most ridiculous thing.
According to Professor Dieter Hurwitz, hell is 10,500 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's super.
And he says human souls can survive there because souls don't burn under 12,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
How on earth would he know when a soul...
I don't know.
This guy is bonkers.
I don't know. You know, I was going to use that during the regular show today, but I didn't know if I could say hell on the radio. So I was like,
you can say hell.
I just didn't, some stations might not like that. So I was like, I'm going to share it in our bonus break. All right, we've got a couple of other things to share here, and then we're going to wrap things up because we've got a lot of stuff to do. We have wacky street names, and these are real street names. This is from carconnection.com. 10 wacky street names. We'll start at number 10. Far from Poopin' Road. It's
my God.
Tennessee. And it happens to be on Constipation Ridge. I'm not even kidding. Far from Poopin' Road.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live on that.
Constipation Ridge.
I wouldn't want to live on either of those.
Tater Peeler Road in Lebanon, Texas. Where you live? Up on Tater Peeler Road. Number 8, the intersection of Count and Basie in Richmond, Virginia. Count Basie. That was you know who Count Basie is?
I don't.
Yeah, she was a famous actress. Number 7, Shades of Death Road in Warren, New Jersey. Warren County, New Jersey. Where you live? Up on Shades of Death Road. Unexpected Road in Buena, New Jersey. Or Buena, however they say it. Number 5, Bucket of Blood Street. Holbrook, Arizona.
Gosh.
Can you imagine putting that on your address?
Bucket of
Blood Street.
I bet the property values are not super high on those roads.
These are just crazy. This is another one that's interesting. The intersection of Clinton and Fidelity Street in Houston, Texas. There's another intersection in Albany, Georgia. Intersection of Lonesome and Hardup. And then there's a court. You know how they have some that are like whatever court? Well, there's one in Heather Highlands, Pennsylvania called Divorce Court.
They should have another one called People's.
That is awesome.
People's Court.
And number one on the list here in Traverse City, Michigan, Psychopath.
I would live on Psychopath. That would be a cool street
Psychopath?
name.
No,
yeah.
I don't think I want to live on Psychopath.
I would live on Psychopath.
I live with a psychopath sometimes. But, oh, hey, sorry. Did I say that out loud? All right, that's going to do it for your bonus break. Brought to you by our good friends at Knowles Systems. And if you want your money making more, you need a system, maybe Knowles Systems. They've got the website, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Go check it out, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.